Welcome to Rise and Mind, everybody. I am Matt Crafton, and we have with us, as always, CP Sketch.
CP Sketch in the house. How are you all doing? Well, that's rhetorical, right? What's going on tonight? How you doing, Matt? Oh, as he sips his coffee. Perfect timing. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Well, yeah, welcome on in.
Hello. We're doing a little bit of an After Dark episode today, due to
we're doing some different stuff.
scheduling.
Heck yeah, we got to catch these late night RAM night owls.
All the night owls. Like, J.R. Strang was just in here. I don't know if he's going to come back, but we had to do a quick reset.
Usually how it goes, right? That's just the way it is, dude. All right.
I'm just hiding the status bar. I just clicked it away because it's just going to bother me if I look at it.
Put a piece of tape over it. Hey man, I'm watching the stream on my end and it looks like it's
looks fine.
It's running fine, dude. Like it's good. No, I'm not jumping around. There's just a flicker in the eye. Okay, pause for a second there. I don't know if you fuckers you listeners can hear me.
You wonderful listeners who we love so much.
Yeah, maybe I'll hit refresh again. Just if you're watching the stream, get your finger right poised to hit that refresh button. I'm gonna hit it right now myself, and stream's fixed. Yeah,
there you go.
It looks like it's on time. Huh? Oh, it's so behind, man. Even with the refresh.
Oh, it's gonna be like 10 seconds behind with what's happening.
I'm not even waving yet. It's way. Oh my god, I'm like waving. You know, you gotta see me wave for like 10 minutes. This is the count the duration of the waves that I'm making, and you'll know at. Oh my god, I'm still not waving. I've been waving for like 20 minutes now. For you Spotify and Apple Music listeners, I'm literally waving here. Oh man. Matt's just uploaded on the Discord. Oh, I'm starting to wave. There we go. That's like a day and a half.
They said he's still Legend says he's still waving to this day.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So already 20 seconds. And then there was 5 I came in. We're hitting 30 seconds right now. I mean, This is almost a full minute of waving. Or you're picking your nose in the freeze frame. You got your.
What? I'm picking my nose again? It's still stuck on that freeze frame?
Yeah. It just keeps stuck on the. It's you without a hat and your Ram shirt with your hand on your nose. He probably just touching his mustache. Yeah, okay, I stopped waving. Pretty cool, huh?
Alright, he stopped waving, guys.
We're about a minute in the past, I believe. I'm living in the future, just 1 minute. It's currently raining here in New England, Maine specifically. Here in the Mid-Century Mobile, aka the Dreamers Arcade, with the Space Motherfucking Space Viking 42.
42nd Viking of Space.
The 42nd, he's the 42nd dude of a crew of 100 that abandoned him, and he seeked revenge.
That's the sought.
He killed the 99.
I sought revenge.
He went to
yes.
A 99. Your always come back for more. Sponsorships open. 99. I can go to you time and time again. I get the buffalo chicken. It's not too bad, and a little bit of soup maybe, and a little something. The 99. It's very boomer centric. You want to bring your mom, your grummy Grammy.
Your grum.
You want to bring Max Headroom, because apparently you just did some kind of did stutter move with your screens. All right. We're celebrating the 42nd anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. No, I don't know. It's probably pretty accurate.
Well, actually, what we're celebrating in this episode is Pride Month. Yeah. It is the 29th. We're almost all out. We've used up all of our pride all month.
I know, man.
And now we're gonna talk about it.
we're getting to the end here. We've just got a couple days left. Celebrate, come on, good times. Yeah, I saw a lot of stuff going on in the last 4 weeks now. Yeah. 4 weeks, man. Pretty much a whole month has already happened. Pride.
Well, we're in the intro. So first off, how was your week? How have things been going?
Oh, so okay, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
So it was a little stressful going into it because like we did the artist retreat and I was broke coming in on fumes, like at the end of that.
Yeah, same.
And I needed some cash because I needed like $760 to fix some car stuff, and that was Thursday. So I ran around and found my work and made some money. I had to end up borrowing money to pay the garage with cash, and then I ended up getting an electronic payment of the exact amount sent to my bank, and now I'll have to cash that and then go pay the other person back. But I also got a new customer, and I have a job, and I made some cash there. But then my bank account was trying to drop below those dangerous areas, and so then I had to take some of that cash and then put it into the digital. So we've just been jumping back and forth. Sometimes you get so far behind. That happens. But
don't you hate that shit? Like you already don't have any money, and then your bank is charging you because you don't have any money. They're saying, "Oh, you got to pay us some money because you don't have enough money."
I know you fucked up. now you got to pay for it. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a raw deal. But other than that, I had a pretty good week. I started this dancing practice. It's like a line dance, witch dance that we're doing on Halloween, and dress as a witch. And yeah, it's wild, dude. Like I've been needing to get some exercise, and it's like 2 straight hours of just learning these steps, and it's good exercise. You're like sweating to death. So that's making me feel pretty good. I had some endorphin rush this morning, and overall I've had a good day because I went up to my buddy just 10 houses up the road's 45th wedding anniversary. It's older than me by a couple weeks. It's insane. So that's a pretty weird perspective on that. But I ate a bunch of food. I got to see his son that I used to ride a school bus with 30 years ago and catch up. That was really cool. So, yeah, overall, it's been kind of crazy. Abso is a little stressed out at work and kind of caught in the middle of stuff. And it's been a weird week, but overall, it's been good. I reconnected with someone I hadn't seen in a while who works downtown. I started going down there again because I'll be going back and painting the mural. But, yeah, enough of that. What have you been up to this whole week?
Well, I've been in... It's weird. You and I know art block really intimately. We know what art block is like. A creative block. For those of you who write or do movies or create music, it was a creative block.
And stuck.
But it was the weirdest version of a creative block I've ever had, though. So I'm on night shift, right? I had to do something close to 14 days of night shift. So I was up until midnight at a place where it was not my usual place to create at the times when I normally would be creating. And what that did to my brain was it kind of messed me up a little bit. So this whole week I've been in this weird, like, it felt like I was not in this dimension anymore.
Whoa, you're in a different realm, brother.
And then, like, what made it even more so is a lot of the people in my life were really busy. So like these messages were coming in and it felt like there was a lag to when people would respond to me. And so it made it even more so feeling like I was in a different realm.
Oh yeah, just things got kind of thrown off a little bit.
By today, actually today was the first day it started to feel normal again. I was feeling like I didn't even exist. It's just like I'm just in purgatory now. And
I understand
and the reason
it's a tough feeling.
The reason I'm saying this was part of the creative block is that whenever I would sit down to do art, I would be able to just quickly go through my process of doing the space stuff and like the planet, and I would sit there and I'd be like, that only took like 10 minutes. And then I would try to do something to add substance to the piece, because like my space art, though pretty, lacks like a story or like a reason to care about it. So
yeah.
I would try to add something with substance to these pieces, and they would just be like, I ended up doing a unicorn with rocket boots in the foreground of one of them, and I was like, this is, well, that's a thing, I guess. And I just felt so empty working on it.
But that makes a little sense. I was just talking with Abso about like, hey, I gotta get some different stuff that's kind of more unified to everybody. And if you do like video game art and stuff, like that's one specific culture, you know, of group of people, and that like have a vested interest. Well, what about just general? Gotta work general to specific, as Pete would say. Oh. So it's like unicorns and mermaids, right? You know, like, but how can you make it yours? And you did that, dude.
I did, but I didn't feel. I don't know how to put this. I felt nothing. It's what it was. It didn't excite me. That's another good way to put how this week has felt. I was chasing dopamine, like literally chasing it. Like I could not catch it. I'm just constantly attempting to chase it and never actually getting to the point where I would find it. Now, a week ago...
I think I was gobbling it all up.
Speaking of Pride, a week ago, I made this. So I'm going to put it on the share screen. I made this for Pride. This is my Pride piece. Every year I do a Pride piece. And this felt great. This was like before the creative block hit me. This was amazing. Like, it was so much fun to do this piece. Someone said it looked like an oil spill.
I mean, next year for Pride, we should have the Rise in Mind terrain, like the colors. Like, yeah.
That's not bad.
I just was looking. Just thought of that. That's an easy way to kind of incorporate. I always want to do something, but now it's like the end of the month, and I haven't done any art. Talk about not being inspired.
Well,
like,
this episode of Rise of Mind is a chance for you to do something. We're doing something for Pride right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? So that's pretty much how my week has been. You ready to break ground?
Absolutely, dude.
All right. Break.
Let us break ground.
Let us break the ground. Let's go like right into it. Right?
Okay. Hey, that's beautiful, man.
Right back to the share screen.
Oh, look at that, dude. You got the brim, the rings, the rainbow, and this beautiful wait, what do we got there? That's really cool. Tell me what you did here.
Oh, you're seeing it now. You're somewhat behind. I might need to give you a projector of the actual stream itself instead of just my face.
Oh, that girl is kissing.
Oh yeah, that's
It was kind of awkward.
That was when I pressed home. That was just the first post that came up when I clicked the home button. What's making you laugh so much about it?
It's just some girl kissing the screen with boobs. I'm sorry.
With boobs.
It just cracked me up, man.
All right, hold on.
Crap, dude.
Let me give you an output projector of the actual stream itself. Let's see. Windowed projector, preview. There we go. So I'm going to close this.
I'm fixing this up.
And I'm making it so that you can see the stream instead. Let's see here.
Okay, I see nothing now.
Yeah. Windowed projector.
Dun 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 dun.
There we go.
Dun dun.
Now you should be able to see.
Oh, it's so fucking blurry, dude. But oh, it's so stuttery. It's so slow. You're frozen. I'm jumping back and forth.
Hold up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now
I
it
can
shouldn't
see
be.
Pride
Now it shouldn't
Month.
be frozen.
Yeah.
So we're in Pride Month. So we're gonna go to the Wikipedia page for Pride Month because we're starting from scratch. Like you and I are. The term is cisgendered heterosexual male. Identify as male. That's what you and I are.
Yeah, sure.
But I had someone on TikTok come up and have this really interesting take on this. He said that it doesn't matter if you're straight, if you're hetero, if you're cisgendered. You take your gender, put it like picture it as a cardboard box, and tear that box open and look inside. What when you see all the stuff that what gender is, and then you look at what you see in the box, what can you add and what can you take away? What fits? That's a good way to think about it, even if you're straight, because they say that it's a spectrum.
Uh-huh.
And it's like,
so
I have some feminine traits, for instance. When I did that exercise, I was like, oh, I actually have some feminine traits about the way that I view my gender. Like, I don't necessarily view myself as just male.
Sure.
And sometimes I'll see men like, and I'll be like, I'm not with them. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if we're like just putting random things in these boxes or whatever, however it works, there's definitely some things that I would prefer. Like, there's a lot of activities with women that I'd rather probably do than men, or just being in the arts and having a creative eye for things and talking about fashion or interior design. I have lots of interests. Like, I watch nail tutorial stuff like with my wife, and I find that to be fascinating because it's two things for me. It's creative and it's pretty. Like, I like glittery things and stuff like that. So that's not super like super masculine, but I do also like things that you would consider masculine. Like, I don't know, what do I do? Like maybe building, maybe carrying big rock. I mean, what do you do that's masculine? I swear and I smoke. That's probably masculine, but lots of women do that too. And I love hanging out with women who swear and smoke. They're like, I love the gender fluidity, and I like hanging out with women who act like men sometimes and don't always like a lot of men. But if they're into art, or I love hanging out with a lot of like gay men, because they're just so like into conversation a lot and laughing and the kind of stuff that I think I'm into as well. So I don't like stoicism. So if they're like a bunch of dudes just standing around not talking, like, I wouldn't like that situation. So I'm gonna go in areas where I share values and am entertained. So yeah, I really love Pride Month too. Like, I think ever since it's really been like building, seeing all the performances and giving the opportunities for like a whole month for people to be able to find the time to support and be like, hey, look, I supported, I'm doing a show this time, and then this time, and then this time. It's emerging. And it's cool to see people be able to participate in a good amount of time to where it's flexible.
Ooh, so sorry, I just read this. It's as early as 1970 was when there were some of the first Pride marches.
Yeah, I mean, just the idea of we're happy. There was a lot of, opposition, crazy. Like people just not accepting people. And to this day, dude, I hear people saying like, oh, it's fine behind closed doors. And it's like, what are you really talking about, man? Because it's like,
What isn't going to be behind closed doors? Like, wait, are you guys having sex in open air? Like, to someone like a straight dude saying that, I'd be like, are you doing everything intimate in open air? Because you shouldn't be doing that either. Like,
exactly. Like, but it's like I should be able to say goodbye and kiss my wife goodbye, like out in a parking lot or something, without. That there's certain normal things, but then if I'm making out with my wife on the hood of the car as a middle-aged man, that's just gonna be cringe for some people. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's things that
I would honestly whistle at you. I'd be like, yeah, woo, woo.
Yeah, I might too if I saw that. But you know what I'm saying? It's like behind closed doors. I think whatever happens reasonably out in public. I mean, you can't run around nude. You can't be lewd and lascivious.
Yeah.
But
like
that aside, a man saying I love you to someone in public, or giving a pet goodbye, or holding hands,
or even just a kiss, a light kiss, or any kissing. Honestly, I honestly wouldn't like. I'm weird when it comes to PDA though. Like, I don't care like who loves who. But like when it comes to PDA, I kind of celebrate it. I'm just like, yeah, make all the normies uncomfortable. Heck yeah, that's public displays of affection. Like, I love the idea of two men kissing, and then some like lost in their own ideology boomer scowling at them, and it's like, yeah, make the boomers uncomfortable, but only the ones that want to cause trouble. I don't want to make everyone uncomfortable.
Well, the thing is, not every boomer. that's a. I feel like the problem is, though, I just feel like that's not the intention, right?
Right.
Like, haha, we're being jerks. We're antagonizing you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, can we just fucking give a kiss like a normal, or I love you or something?
Yeah.
Or be a bit obvious and flamboyant. It's like, is that really like? If you're a dick about it, you're a dick about it. People are just dicks about things, and they're assholes. An asshole's an asshole. Yeah. Like, that'd be a good Pete one. But like, that's just basic human earthly rights. Like, we should, if you saw, if you saw other people like if I kissed my wife goodbye, it wouldn't be anything. A little peck in the parking lot or a hug, but you can't be like, oh, that, why? And then ask the question, why?
Yeah.
Is it because you're so unsettled in your world that you think it's gonna like disrupt reality or your values or whatever? Or maybe, you know what I think it is? They're just jerks, and they're like, I don't want my kid to see that, because like if they're gay, then they'll think it's okay.
I don't want my kid to see what an actual stable relationship based on love looks like.
And that's why I think they don't want stuff on television. I've heard people talk about inclusivity and just be like awful about it. It's like, dude, when I watch a movie, there's gonna be a Trent or a creep, right? A Trent is Trent's like your disillusioned Gen Xer, like if you watch Game of Thrones, he's Braum, the guy who's just like kicking dudes out of sky doors, and like that was dishonorable. He's like, yeah, but he's dead and I lived. Just kind of a dink, and Ryan Reynolds is a good Trent, when I see that guy, I go, hey, there you are, buddy. That's like the dude Negan from The Walking Dead. That's the dude that I want to hang with, and that's the character for me. But we all need a character for us. And it's like, it should be every story should be able to be like, everybody gets to be a character because it's a real world and that actually all exists. No, I don't want my son to see that or something like that. It's like, you don't want your son to be open in this world.
He said it. He said it.
What?
CP Sketch said the thing. You said the thing. Hold on, we're going back to the breaking ground stage. You did. You said the word of the day. We're going Jim Henson mode now. The word of the day is exist. So that's why Pride Month is a thing. So there's a lot of people out there they'll be like,
it exists, dude.
How come you get a whole month? And it's like, the way to respond to that question is there anyone actively making it harder for you to be straight? Is there anyone out there actually making it more difficult to be straight, to be what the status quo is?
Yeah.
I don't think that's why Pride Month is important, is because it raises awareness. It's because they just want to exist. And there's no one out there telling CP Sketch or Matt Crafton that they shouldn't exist. Could you imagine a world where
I mean, I'm sure there's people. We all have nemesis, and I meet people who
wrong button.
Who
Jesus.
Like, we get along. Like you and I got along from the get-go, and that's just kind of a vibe. But then there's people that I meet, no matter what they're all about.
That's the one.
It's just like we aren't gonna work really well, and vice
versa.
versa.
Let's go into the. You're right. Let's go into the history of Pride, just so that we keep moving. Ouch!
Sorry, my heels.
Oh.
My heels sore.
I thought I struck a nerve or something.
No, I was doing that dance practice. I'm just gonna stretch my foot over here.
So
I'm a big guy, man. Doing dancing is tough.
So the gay liberation
there's another
movement
example.
was...
I've been hanging out with primarily all women and a gay guy, and been dancing with my male friends sometimes. Like a lot of people would be like, that's not very masculine, dude, but I love it, dude. I have a hell of a fun time.
The gay liberation movement is what led
to... It made me feel great.
It's what led to Pride Month. The gay liberation movement.
Yeah, that was in the 70s.
So it's this from 1960s to 1980s. It was how long this took to actually take hold. Apparently it was at a place called the Stonewall Inn in the gay village of Greenwich.
You've never heard of this?
Greenwich, or is it Greenwich or Greenwich?
It's Greenwich, and it's Greenwich, right?
I think that's pronounced Greenwich. Yeah, it's Manhattan, New York.
Sorry, you had Greenwich Village, right?
Site of June 1969 Stonewall riots.
Yeah, they had massive riots, and I think there's 2 people killed or something.
They were a series of spontaneous, violent demonstrations against a police raid that took place in the early morning hours of June 28th, 1969, at the Stonewall Inn.
They raided the club.
They raided the club, and 2 people died in the raid.
Yeah, I knew it.
Well, no, I was asking you.
Oh. Did I just make that up? I thought you were reading the article. I was like, hey, I got it right.
I am now, because I want to know.
No, I'm probably wrong, dude.
Let's see.
I'm an idiot.
No, I'm looking. Hold on.
I shouldn't laugh. This is a horrible thing that happened too.
Well, you're laughing at the idea. You're laughing at the idea that you might be wrong, and you got excited about being right. You're not laughing at this.
I'm just a moron, and it's really bad timing. But yeah, the Stonewall riots kicked it off, man.
God, we could do 4-hour episode on this. There's so much, but I'm gonna agree with you that some people probably died from that, or else it wouldn't be such a big deal.
He doesn't just say it in the summary.
Not in the summary. No.
Dude, we need to have
Cisco Panch. Hello.
Isaac on the show.
Yeah, this is why we wanted to have Isaac on the show. I have a friend who is there's so many terms now. I'm not well educated on them. I just know that he's a homosexual man. He's married his husband a while back. We wanted to interview him, and he ended up not being able to be on the show because of scheduling issues. So we're gonna end up reading some of his own thoughts that he sent me over text, but I did want to just get through the history of Pride and like.
Okay.
So there were the Stonewall Inn. There was.
I got it.
You got it.
So they started throwing pennies at cops, the crowd. They threw some beer cans and some rocks and even a parking meter. Then the cops retreated inside the bar.
Parking meter.
Yeah, which was set a fire by the crowd. A hose from the bar was employed, and the trapped cops doused the flames. The reinforcements were summoned. It said I asked how many people died in Stonewall riots. It said Stonewall riots led to dozens of arrests and a number of injuries, both civilians and police officers, but there were no records of deaths, either civilians or police at the scene. So yeah, it was just one of those moments where it was bubbling over. You got to figure you had the civil rights period where it's like you were dealing with black rights, you were dealing with feminist rights, and then gay rights. Like it was just all the shit that nobody wanted to take anymore, and it was bubbling up. And so if that stuff wouldn't have happened, it wouldn't have like kind of had this causality effect that it took a long time. Gay culture was like slowly introduced to the mainstream, and being someone who was born in the 80s there, being an 80s kid, I can tell you there were like gay characters in movies, but there were token characters, meaning they were kind of stereotypes, like Hollywood from Mannequin, and I loved those characters. I was like, that person's fun, and I always loved like dramatic and the gay characters. But it wasn't until like really the 90s until they made a film, I think, called High Art, which was the first film about like I think a lesbian couple that was in the mainstream. It was unbelievable because those movies would be played in like backroom theaters. It'd be seen as sleazy, like if they were about the culture. But this was the first time where it had been so becoming so accepted that it was able to join the mainstream and be played in regular cinemas there, that mainstream, I should say, more the cinemas that people would go to and see and kind of get educated. Years later, flash forward, Brokeback Mountain's winning awards, and that's mainstream. That's at the Academy Awards. And now RuPaul in the 90s, that was the first time I really ever saw drag, and I saw this towering, RuPaul singing "Work, Turn to the Left," and I was like, this is fun,
awesome.
And RuPaul, and RuPaul was like on talk shows and part of like commercials and stuff, so it became normalized, So
I want to talk more about that later.
It's building up.
We have like there was initially the Stonewall riots, but
and that was
our chatter here actually brought up an important point as well, that there was a whole nother set of riots in San Francisco as well, the Compton's Cafeteria Riot. This happened actually, let's see, the 1950s created the foundation for trans rights as well, because this happened 1966. So like it was happening all over the country, because the other riot happened in New York. This one was in San Francisco. So I'm sure this was happening across the entire country in different ways around this time, of people being like, enough is enough. We're people. We are people too, right?
Think of Black Lives Matters. Like it little groups are all across, right? It's like it's your region, New England or California or down south. Like that's a similar idea. Like things just kind of evolve and inspire if people didn't like speak up. And we didn't have the internet. The internet changed a lot of stuff too, with connecting people.
The ability to actually like find your people and then talk to them and find people that actually are fighting the same fight as you. Or we can't diminish the value of the exposure too. Like say you were someone who was like had these idolations as a teenager, and you're like, I think I'm like, if you're a person who is coming into your personhood, so to speak, and you're realizing, oh, I might be gay, and you're surrounded by a community that would like lynch you basically for being that, and you have to hide it. Imagine how liberating the internet would be for a person like that. It's like, oh, I can actually connect with my people without fear of getting hurt or subjugated or completely like I don't know what the term is, like kicked out of their house, you know, like
Yeah, thrown the fuck out.
yeah, that's the term.
Well,
And
well, one
true.
moment I will add. You mentioned this idea that you couldn't express yourself because of the fear of violence thrust upon you. And there is an individual back in, we're talking about high art coming out in the early 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, in 1998, there was this young man named Matthew Wayne Shepard, and he was a gay American student at the University of Wyoming.
Right.
He was beaten and tortured and left near the Laramie on the night of October 6, 1998. He was taken by rescuers, the hospital in Colorado, and he died 6 days later from severe injury. And that's there were these guys that were arrested for first-degree murder following the death, and it really struck a chord. You had these people killing people just because they wanted to be who they were. And
the people,
I don't know,
the people that were being killed just because they wanted to be who they were.
Yeah, I mean they were beaten up for being, just in his case, gay. And those were the sort of stories that were making it so you couldn't like hide the bigotry anymore, and you realized like this is where we live, and we're just rebelling against each other violently.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works, but Stephen King wrote it. And Stephen King, he's a big pro, like political guy who talks about human rights. I don't know if you knew that, but he wrote it, and I think he wrote it in the 80s, but it was really similar to that story, where I don't know what inspired him. We could look it up, but there's a scene in the movie It, I think it was in the second one, and it's in the book, and the book starts with it, and it's horrible. It sets the tone where a gay couple is approached on a bridge after going to the state fair, and these guys just beat him up, and the guy gets thrown off. One of the guys gets thrown off the bridge, and who's attacked, and then it's like he dies, and Pennywise shows up, and it's like that idea that it's those moments. It isn't about this clown; it's about fear.
Yeah,
and it's about the small town being scared, and not being so scared that they don't want to get involved, and sweeping everything under the rugs. It proceeds to how the cops just kind of sweep it under the rug. They don't want to talk about it. And when Pennywise actually gets Georgie, you see it in in the newest movie, someone looks out the door and sees Georgie reaching in the sewer, and they know that there's something bad that happens every 27 years. They know that there's a kid out in the rain reaching his arm in the sewer. Like, what adult wouldn't be like, kid, what are you doing? Cut it out. Do you need help? Where's your family? She just turns her back and closes the door, and then the kid gets grabbed by the clown. It's because it's just about the fear of not wanting things to change, and just being like, it is what it is. Turning your back on things, even if it's violent crimes against some children in a supernatural entity, or just bigoted people. Not being able to accept that these people are who they are and they don't belong in their society for whatever reason. It's an insane notion, but
pure insanity.
I think about that stuff sometimes.
Absolute pure insanity. And that's go drifting into opinion. Like
what's that?
The idea that it's I don't know if it's insanity. I think people, they get scared, and then they act on their fear, and they don't realize that their fear is what's driving them, And so like they don't feel insane. They feel like what they're doing is going to help all of society. They feel like it's going to help everyone to subjugate these gay people or these transgender people. They think they're helping. Yeah. And I think that's why it seems insane to people like us who just want you and I agree that these people just should be allowed to exist.
Yeah, everybody has a right to have their own beliefs. None of us know what's gonna happen to us when we die, and so like I think that's what is creating a lot of the tension. You know, they think that they just want to think because of whatever they believe, whatever narrative that they're telling themselves, like that it should be this way, but that it isn't. If you feel that way, then live your life that way, and you don't have to like turn people into it. Like it's not gonna. You're not going to be guilty by association. Like the whole thing is just so preposterous to me. I don't get it. But
it's like an entire metric ton of testosterone.
Oh yeah, we talk about consensus. Cisco, we talk about consensus times a lot, and then it led into times that were disruptive. Like everything started to become glaringly obvious that we built a facade that we couldn't hold up because we just took a little breath of fresh air because
hey, he said the thing.
That's our last last segment. Wow, that was pretty funny. Now I've totally distracted myself, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, but times ebbs and there ebbs and flows, and times change, and
we're gonna do.
It built up to work.
Cisco brought up something that I want to do a whole episode about, maybe even next week or the week after. Speaking of making the country strong, we have not been strong for a long time, but it's not the them, theys, and gays causing that. It's mostly our food killing us, but
yeah, it's the stuff we blame.
Yeah.
The stuff we blame is never the root. It's like the most obvious thing.
It's just funny Cisco brought that up because I've been thinking about that this week, like heavily, that like, our bodies and our minds have never been weaker, and I think it's mostly because of our food. It's like, why would they want us to have food issues and not be strong? But we'll bring that up in another episode. I want to get through this why Pride Month is important, though. We do keep getting a little distracted. So spread and celebration, I want to touch on that a little bit.
Spreading celebration.
We're spreading the celebration. What? So apparently there's an International Pride Day is held on June 28th. Yesterday.
Oh, so we missed it. Yeah.
We missed it by a day. Goddamn. So the U.S. President Bill Clinton was the first declared the anniversary of Stonewall, First declared the anniversary of Stonewall every June in America as Gay and Lesbian Pride Month in a 1999 presidential proclamation. Barack Obama expanded the official Pride Month recognition in 2011, including the whole of the LGBTQ plus IA community. SA, sorry, not IA.
It makes sense. Think of the things politically happening. Times were changing in the 90s. It was becoming mainstream, and then like right at the tail end you had someone like attacked and killed, and then you have to start doing stuff politically to be like, we care about everybody.
Yep.
For whatever reasons you think they do it, but that's politics aside, but it all works together. Now there's a lot of strength in the gay community, and starting to you have people that are open in politics, and it's cool. The thing is, dude, it's friggin' insane. Like this has like been history forever. Like I can go through different times and different art periods and stuff. Like we didn't make this up in the 20th century. Let me that's all I'll say.
So just as a sort of a palate cleanser thing, I want to bring up something funny that actually came about from Pride Month. So take the word Pride Month. Actually, CP, do this as an exercise. It's actually even better.
You want me to get a pen and paper?
If you have one handy. I'll do it too. Oh my god,
I found a paper.
We're both artists, and sometimes it's a struggle to find the pad and paper.
I found a pen. Maybe for you.
I know.
Oh, this is just a Bic pen.
Dude, for me, right. it is difficult for me to find pad and paper sometimes because I'd be the digital artist. So write out the words Pride Month.
In all
caps. Do it in all caps.
And separate them like I would.
You don't even have to separate them.
Well, I would do intuitively, and you're gonna probably be like, "No, that's wrong."
Then take.
I would make it balanced.
All right, no, that's not. It's not going to work that way. You have to do it all together. Sorry,
I ruin everything. I'm so subversive in my art.
How dare you? How dare you? So as a palette cleanser,
all right.
So now take
I'm doing it.
PRI. Once you have it written out like that.
Okay.
PRI.
I got it in a row.
Scribble out PRI.
All right. Private eye.
And then scribble out the T and the H on the end.
Yes.
And what's the word that's left?
Demon.
Yes. So
demon.
So the LGBTQ plus community has been leaning into this, and it's so funny to me.
I'm a demon girl.
They're just like, yeah, release your inner demon during Pride Month because the demon is inside of Pride Month. And I'm like, this is awesome. The demon inside of you. Because like originally Christians were like, oh, look at that, demons in the words Pride Month. Look at they're all demons. And then all of the people who celebrate Pride Month were like, yes.
Yeah, I love that's a smart way to do it. Just take people call you a derogatory term. We've seen it throughout culture, races, different groups that,
right.
You want to call me this, I'm going to embrace it. And this is going to, I'm going to use it. And you better not use it. Better not hear you using it. It's bad. But I can say it, jerk. It's pretty funny. So that's your answer is like, why do people do that? They use these hurtful words. It's like, no, they use them so you can't use them, you dumbass. And it's making you remember what you've either experienced or what you've been, or it's like glaring you right in the face. Like, you think I've gone away? Here's your demon. It's great. I love it.
I feel like I
say embrace it, man.
I'm glad we're having this conversation because I feel like it's really.
It's like me being fat. Like I can call myself I could be like, look at this. Hey, I'm a fat bastard, and then I'd be like, I could walk up to other fat guys and be like, what up, my big ass bearded brothers and stuff like that. But like, if someone like a little small person, or especially like a pretty woman came up, it's like, what up, you big fatsos? Like, it might be shaming because it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's.
I like
you know what it's like. You know what it's like, and you know what it's like for people to have bullied you and use that word, and so like it's like I'll say it about myself, so you can't have the power over it anymore. It's my word. You can't say it.
It's kind of cool. I'm about to say something that's a little bit controversial because I'm gonna state it as a fact.
1 second. Look at.
No, I know. I already acknowledged that. Like.
That's so great.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. What about it? Like, that's the best. Ups to you. Yeah. That's great.
So I have a statement to make that's
That's how you win.
I know it's factual. By humanity and definition and science and the way that population density works, all this different stuff, right? There's going to be people that will fight me on this. Maybe not within our echo chamber. I don't think we'd have anyone that would fight me on this. But there's lots of people out there that don't.
I'm in an echo chamber.
No,
I'll disagree with you right now.
We are an echo chamber. What I mean by that is we have a lot of values that we share and we agree on a lot of things, and we're not going to necessarily two or three. But so I believe this is a fact that they've always existed. The entire gender spectrum has always existed throughout all of human history. and it's only recently. It's only exactly. It's only recently that it's become such a like controversial thing. But even the Native Americans had something called Two-Spirit. They had a word for trans. That's what's it's so cool to me to think about this. Yeah, they had something called Two-Spirit, and I want to talk about that a little bit as part of the history. Well, the history, like what is pride? Why is it important? So traditionally, Native American Two-Spirit people were male, female, and sometimes intersexed individuals who combined activities of both men and women with traits unique to their status as Two-Spirit people. In most tribes, they were considered neither men nor women, non-binary. They occupied a distinct alternative gender status. And this was hundreds of years ago that this was something that was normal in Native American tribes.
That what happened got like usurped. So
well, I don't know about usurped. I don't know about that.
No, dude.
What do you mean by usurped?
People still believe it. Okay. Here's a little history lesson for you. There was a bunch of Native Americans that lived in America, and then there was a bunch of people from another country who had different beliefs and did this thing called genocide and assimilation.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, that's right.
So, like, a lot of that got, like, well, they were intentionally trying to push it out for their own way. So, that's why those things, like, I didn't know that, but that's just another thing. Like, I know other parts of Native American culture. And, yeah, it's fascinating because, like, it just goes to show, like, ebbs and flows, man.
Yeah. And, like, there's evidence in many of Shakespeare's plays as well of talking about multi-gendered and there's of course a lot of homosexuality in Shakespeare's plays because it almost required it. You'd have
yeah
not necessarily like they had to have homosexuals playing every part, but I feel like it must have been pretty common for a lot of the troops to have, a couple of people who were. This is something that I'm drawing back on my English class in high school, so the information is very fractured at this point. Just for reference, it's been a long time since I've been in high school. And
dude, it's been a long time since I've been in high school. They didn't teach us any of this shit when I was in high school, so we didn't learn about gay pride back in the 80s and early 90s. It wasn't until...
Well, actually, let's dig into that a little bit. What was it like for you learning about all this stuff growing up? Because you're one generation removed from me.
First gay person that I ever knew was my uncle. He was 27 years old. He moved out of state, like Kansas City or something. He was, unfortunately, like the rest of my family, really abused. And when he was 27 years old, he died because of, he used drugs, and he had unprotected sex with men, and he got AIDS. And it was really unfortunate because those times were, they were really hard because it was just a horrible pandemic. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was a horrible thing to happen.
Epidemic.
Yeah. I couldn't think of my words. This is sad. Like just thinking about this guy that he didn't make it very long, and I never really got to know him. So strangely enough, he bought me something. I didn't know this guy. Get this. He bought me a transformer, and it was like a beast. It was like a
Beast Wars ones.
Well, it was like I don't know what it was. I'll show you it sometime. It was like a panther or some sort. But that's in my story when I have the cat, the basically the Damaka, the DMCA monster that I'm running in the Dreamers Arcade. That's the build that I built it around. This thing that my uncle gave me as a way to include this man I never knew. But that's why there was so much like hate fueled energy back then too, because people were calling AIDS like a gay disease. and it really was used to push that hatred via the mainstream. And then to hear like people who were godly to an extreme to use that and say that God did this for a reason is
God might have been smiting them.
And dude,
meanwhile,
in the 1980s, for you to use that argument, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Because if you read those books, God was vengeful and did a whole bunch of shit in the old book. But then when his son came down, he's like, "No, I'll handle the show." And then they're like, "No, your God, dude, sucks," and so they killed him. No, I don't. But it's like
your God sucks.
We don't like your we don't like your dad. But the point is, it's you see what I'm saying? I'm kind of laughing at this dumb joke.
What you just spurred in my mind was the idea is that there actually wasn't any direct scripture saying that being gay was a sin.
Oh, they say man not lay with another man. It's just like because they know the BO is going to be too bad. They don't want us. It wasn't about that.
Hold up, I want to like.
Once we invented soap, it was all who knows? The Bible also says like if someone dies in your family, you gotta like go take care of his wife if you're the oldest or youngest brother or something.
Yeah.
Like it says crazy shit. It says you could beat your wife with a stick. Like it isn't. If you took it word for word, you'd be in jail, dude.
Well, what I want to touch on is
real.
that scripture you just quoted was Leviticus, and it actually was mistranslated. So what it originally meant is that you're not allowed to be a pedophile. It meant to be a man should never lay with a boy. It was mistranslated to men when it was supposed to be man to boy, which is like, yeah, I can get behind that. Let's make that a sin. Like, sure. But how about we not like change the scripture when King James takes over? Let's not change it to suit our own strange insecurities.
And that was King James rewrote it for his own political gain.
He did a lot of that. That's true.
And now like most people read that. It's like, come on, guys. Like
anyone who's listening right now who thinks that this might be just a bunch of bull crap, just go onto Google, find out, go see what happened. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, you can look this stuff up, man. I know we're just a lot of times just talking our own shit, but it's not like some like emotional, like self-fulfilling like mission that we're on. It's just like look it up, dude, and see the consensus of things and understand that your little world you walk down has different doorways, and they're not all for you to walk through, but other people can fucking walk through them and do their own thing. What's your deal, man? Just be along for the ride, man. Nobody even knows if there's anything after this. Like, really, that's called faith, dude. But come on,
I can't get into too much detail of like my first experiences with that community, because it's actually my first experiences were with my sibling, and I don't want to get into detail without I hadn't actually talked to my brother directly about talking about this on the podcast, so I'm not going to get into detail, but I got to witness it from afar. Like, he didn't live with me forever, but it was interesting to see the transformation, so to speak, of him being told he had to be a boy from society. And then watching that sort of that freedom come into his brain. He was such an angry kid growing up, so mad, throwing his weight around, like damaging the walls, damaging me. I was the younger brother, but like, I've already forgiven him for that. We don't need to get into detail on that stuff. It's more about the fact that
if you were my brother, I'd beat you up too. No, I'm just kidding.
He was such an angry kid, right? And then now that he's come into his new identity, And I'm one of the few people that he doesn't mind me saying he, but he actually prefers she.
Oh, okay.
And he's so much more relaxed now, so much more jovial and laughing and happy. It's such an like this. That was my first experience with it. That's why I consider myself an ally, but I still don't know. This is another reason why I wish we had Isaac on the show, because I wanted to ask Isaac, what does it actually mean to be an ally? And I know there's really bad ways to be an ally. I've read about some ways that are really insensitive. It's like pandering. Yeah.
Oh,
and
I've got one.
Yeah, feel free.
My governor.
Yeah.
My pet, the main governor who got a lot of controversy. He's like, he'd say stuff. He had an adopted black son, right? And he'd be like, I'm not racist, even though he'd say stuff that was impacted by old Klan ideology, because they moved like Klansmen up to Maine to persecute Catholics, and it's like where it actually stemmed from was known by some, and some people were oblivious to it. So he'd just be like, I'm not racist. I have a black son I've adopted, and if I had anything to deal with, I'd send him to deal with it, or something. Like basically like dissociating from the whole thing. People like, I'm not a bigot. I have a gay friend, or like that whole kind of token thing. Like, but it's like you can't just be like knowing people, and that's really phoning it in, buddy.
And so as to wrap up breaking ground, what is your take on these corporations just suddenly turning rainbow at the beginning of the month?
No, don't even fucking get me started.
You guys
want to hear a CP rant?
I wanted you to have this rant before we got into the deep dive.
And I'm with you, Cisco. I'm picturing a sexy Jesus.
Yeah,
dude, they made Jesus so sexy in some of those pictures with his abs and stuff. Like, dude. Yeah. Okay, so, man.
Yeah, like
why?
I didn't.
Why do we have to have politics in simple things like stores and food products and drinks? I get showing support, but man, capitalism is ridiculous.
This goes back to my despise of certain holidays. It's like, why are we not spreading awareness, showing support year round? If it's something you really care about, then why are you only doing it during June? If you only do it during June, then it feels like a cash grab. It feels like just
it's like going to Catholic Mass just on Christmas and Easter Sunday, which a lot of you guys do. I know, I've seen those places. I've gotten into those places. I got you. It's just checking a couple boxes. But yeah, there's people that are more invested, and then there's some people that are just fucking nostalgic about it, or they want to, like show up and hey, I'm here, I'm part of it. Citizens United. There are too many community allies pride themselves as such a feeling. Yeah, the white savior.
Yeah, that's where I sort of worry about being an ally. And I think I had one of my friends who is who's transgender told me that me caring so much about being the right kind of ally is already being the right kind of ally. Like, as long as I care enough to learn and listen, like if I make a mistake, someone will tell me, and I care enough to change, my behavior based on what I just learned. That's already being.
You're not gonna argue. Yeah.
That's what someone was saying, and I'm like, that's fair, but I still want to know when I do something wrong, as long as you keep telling me. And the person was like, yeah, we're gonna tell you, and we're gonna be polite about it as long as you're being polite about it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's welcome to polite conversation. And like learning from your mistakes, like what a concept,
I did have someone tell me I misgendered their dog, and that's probably why they didn't like me. And I found that to be a little bit much.
Well, that's
but there's definitely a busting through the top of the roof there.
Professor Fluffy Pants is a she. Okay. Get out of my house. I can't imagine that. I seriously cannot imagine someone caring that much about their dog's gender.
It was weird. It's just how hard you lean into stuff. I was just watching some stuff about movies too, and like you were talking about inclusion and all this stuff in corporations. Well, like look at Disney. Disney's been like,
Disney's the worst.
I shouldn't even say their name too much. It's like Voldemort. Like they're probably already listening to me.
Don't say it twice. Here you go. More.
Yeah, it'll summon it. Yeah, I already said it twice, so it's just gonna pop up.
Shit.
The mouse is in the house, bro. So, oh shit, I'm scared now.
Where is it?
It's Five Nights at Mickey's.
Oh,
yeah, dude.
Man.
Now I'm scared as fuck. Anyway, they had a lot of bad content growing up. You track back. We all know this, right? And if you don't, just Google Disney anything with Disney and past
Disney,
or this then.
Disney controversy will bring up 40,000 entries probably.
Dude, Disney's been doing damage control for a long time. They made the movie Frozen, so when you Google Disney's Frozen, you get the movie because people would Google Disney Frozen to find Walt Disney's head that's been rumored to be frozen. So if they can bring him back in the future with technology.
Oh crap.
So, we're talking about damage control. These fucking guys, they go to extremes with this. But no, they're getting very they're very inclusive and they're trying to have diverse cast. Yep. But guess what? Their writers and the stuff they're putting out is dumb, and it's more the nostalgia wave than anything. Just keep repeating the same kind of vibe. Yeah. But then it's like if you don't like a certain show that's inclusive, then you seem like an asshole. But no, a show's a show. A show's good or a show's not. It has nothing to do with if the story sucks. It sucks that your characters have to be in it, and some things just suck. But that's what it's just all about, to sell more products for them. And it's shit because do they fucking care? Or is it just like politicians doing the same thing? Hey, we support this, we support that. They'll be saying both sides because they want your votes. Disney wants your money. Disney knows how to make money. And certain products, they might find that they're not making a certain demographic, and they're like, well, we're gonna make it gay. What did Bud Light do? I don't understand that move, but they were trying to probably reach out to a different audience, and they pushed back their other audience, and it was like a fucking weird ass thing.
I want to touch on the Bud Light thing. So what was so funny to me about the Bud Light thing was that they made their can rainbow. They had a trans spokesperson saying, look at this new flavor of this new type of Bud Light thing. Blah, 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 supporting it. Had an ad on social media that was on the short form, and then
I never even saw the ad. I just heard the story.
The LGBTQ plus community did not really say much about it, and guess who was whining the most? All the kicking and screaming and whining was from everyone else. They were straight up buying a shit ton of Bud Light, giving the company so much money. Just to shoot it, just to fire a gun at the stack of beer cans, or to throw it in the garbage. One person was blowing it up with fireworks or something, and I was like, wow, you guys just gave Bud Light a lot of money. And it was thousands. They
did the same thing with Yeti.
Thousands of videos. And so say every person that makes a video bought a case of Bud Light just to destroy it. That's $1 million just for the company there.
And those guys are going to go back to drinking Bud Light anyway,
Probably.
These companies know what they're doing. They watch the trends. It's a trend. It's an ebb and a flow. I've seen it happen with a bunch of different products, over the last few years. It's just, they're tricking you, man. Capitalism's annoying and it sucks, and it isn't the root. It isn't the root of humanity. Most of the time, it's an exploitation and a cash grab. It's silly, but Bud Light. I don't understand that because you remember the Dixie Chicks? It was like a country band, and they said some like anti George Bush stuff when he was president or running or something. And at the time, I was just like, I know they were trying to be progressive, but I was like, wow, they really did that. That's not knowing your audience, dude. Yeah. And so for Bud Light to do that, I always wonder what that is. If you feel it's the right thing to do, but these are essentially businesses, like, and now it's wild to me because those things, well, Bud Light thing's fairly recent. The Dixie Chick thing was quite a while ago, but I just never understood that, why you know what you're getting, and then maybe you just feel like it's your, maybe you feel like it's a celebrity, that it's your responsibility. Your responsibility. Like,
I will say, if your sense of identity,
I don't know,
if your sense of identity is reliant on the products that you consume, then you don't actually have a sense of identity.
Wait, say again?
If your sense of identity relies on the products that you consume, then you don't actually have a sense of identity.
Yeah, I think products that you consume, we all do it, can be an enhancement to your life, but only to a certain level. Like, if you have too much of it, then it's not clear. Like, the more specific you can have things, you know, like if people will understand that. Like, look, you know, I like orange.
You made me realize you made me realize I needed to reword that.
But not everything, right?
It's more if your sense of identity is so fragile that a product changing its stance on something can, you know, upset you, then I feel like then it's just your sense of identity is a little bit too fragile. Then it's like, if a company came out as 100% pro-Trump, I would probably like be like, well, I don't really want to support that company anymore. But am I going to get furious and like damage the product and buy more of it just to damage it? You know,
like, it splits the market. Well, I mean, it's weird because that's how that worked out too. I can also understand a company that is completely maxed out in one-sided things. Like, say, people who are more conservative have everybody in that have bought your product, and it's not a product that you buy again, to turn then and against that audience and be like, screw them, and then to go to the other audience to then try to sell it all to them, because then you've hit all of humanity. Your product's done, you made your money, you're out. So I could see some weird situation like that, but to have something that like people drink and then it's gone and you buy it, you're always going to be making money. Like, why try to screw with your market? And I don't know if they felt like as a company they should be inclusive. There's plenty of stuff that, you know, I don't know. I don't understand. If I was a guy in a boardroom, I'm looking at this very logically. Not about like what's right and wrong, what's the right ideology, and what's the right politics. It's just about like, why is a company like Hobby Lobby? I go to Hobby Lobby sometimes, and it's like, why are you so adamant about pushing the Christianity and being closed on Sundays and having crosses everywhere? And only selling certain products and not being very pagan by nature. It's it blows my fucking mind. But then there's a lot of people who are Christians who would probably just support that over a Michaels or an AC Moore because it's even better. You know, like, oh, this is the one that gels with my ideology. So they're grabbing a big market. And then people like me and Wiccan people I know and all these people, they're still going in there because they need supplies, because enough of their money was made and it's blowing out the Walgreens and the Walgreens. What is it? Michaels and the AC Moore. They became this monopolizing thing, but they built based on those numbers. It's just it's brilliant, dude. Yeah. It's brilliant marketing. So I don't understand why people do certain things, but everybody's doing it and nobody quite knows where it's going to take them sometimes. And then some people are trying to go completely opposite, you know, So we're making very politically, ideologically diverse content.
You ready to
and
bring
because
it?
of social media, it's pitting us all against each other. We're
That's
fighting over Spider-Man politics.
feel like you're
whether gay characters are in Star Wars. It's preposterous.
Yeah,
and it's all for the sake of making a quick buck. Quick buck companies, stop messing with our emotions. Stop trying to control ideologies and twist markets. Why can't it just be a nice drink?
Yeah.
Can't we focus on the flavor?
Let's go into the deep dive.
And not who it's for. It's for Coca-Cola was for everyone.
CP.
Andy Warhol taught me that.
You feel your rant is complete?
No, hit the deep dive.
You're gonna rant into the deep dive? It is complete.
No, I was done.
Oh, it is done. Okay.
I was waiting for the music to kick in.
Well, I didn't want to just stop you dead. I wanted to like just be like, "Hey, you ready?" Like,
yep.
Let us go deep.
I was saying,
are you ready for this? We got a new thing for the deep dive. We did it at the artist retreat. Now we're gonna be we're gonna be in a new zone now because we're going deeper. We're going down. I'm just excited for this because it's a new thing here.
I'm ready.
All right, here we are.
Oh,
welcome to the deep dive. Here we are.
Well, this looks crazy.
Yeah, we got CP Sketch and Matt Crafton here in our respective arcade cabinets.
Where the hell are we, dude?
We're down in the tunnels, dude. We're deep. We're going deep.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A, man. It's hard to get away from all this stuff, you know? Like,
yeah.
I think Home Depot said some stuff. I still sometimes call it homophobic depot, and but I love Home Depot and I love Orange and I go there. But I still don't like that part. Stop at Home Depot. Don't be homophobic, Depot.
Don't be
cool.
Just be cool, dude. Just be cool,
dude.
Just be cool. Just be cool, dude.
Just be cool, dude.
I'll
throw you out of the party. Respect gets respect.
Yes.
Don't fuck with Sketch.
Don't fuck with Sketch. So as part of the deep dive, I want to get down to like we're gonna get away from the corporate stuff because you're very right about all that. Because when it comes down to people just talking to people, it's so much simpler. And these companies are making it bigger than it has to be just to make a quick buck. You're very right about all that. And part of the deep dive is I'm gonna open it by telling the story that Isaac sent me over text. Because I feel like it's important to recognize these stories. Where'd he go? There he is.
Hi, Scarlett.
Scarlett Sven. I'm glad you like it. So Isaac had told me a personal story. Let's see, I want to make sure I get it at the right spot here. So I had said our podcast is heavily about learning alongside the listener or viewer. So we are looking up. So we're trying to looking up some terms on the show as well. And then Isaac responded with, "It can be weird. People can be weird. I mean, there's a lot of stereotypes in the community that are not everyone in the community. That not everyone in the community fit. Trying to honor those who fit the normal mold as well as those who don't, but still find themselves in the community can be extra tricky tightrope to walk. How does pride make room for everyone in that community? I guess it's the kind of rabbit hole that was in my mind, along with some personal stories about it. Isaac said, I know a family that has a trans son who's having a really hard time with his transition. He went to his first pride thing around here, meaning northern New Hampshire. And the love, support, and communal acceptance that he experienced really helped him through his process. I love that part of the story. But then Isaac continued, growing up outside the heteronormative norm can be tricky. You can feel very othered. He put that in quotes. We have come leaps and bounds since I was a kid, but having space. Isaac's around my age, so when he was a kid was like 90s. Um, but
we've come a long way since the
yeah,
80s too.
yeah,
Yeah, like I think about that progression that thankfully that Isaac got to grow up along,
yeah.
because like previous to that, it was terrible.
So him and his
I,
husband ended up going to a pride parade. He sorry, I just want to get through this. He went on to say, first time Josh and I went to a pride parade, it was anything like it wasn't anything like we expected. The most striking thing for us was a group of gay veterans marching. Here were a bunch of old, boring looking guys who had been through some shit and faced some deep discrimination, and they were marching alongside their partners who had been with them for a long
wow.
time, who they had potentially served with. It was powerful and humbling. And then Isaac said, I love this. What he said is, it's not all sparkles and drag queens,
Yeah.
though that has its place too. And I just absolutely love that story he gave. I never even thought about veterans marching in a pride parade with their partners too. It's just a beautiful thought.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of these guys, man. They stayed closeted, like, and it they waited their whole lives, like, to be able to like be like, hey, I've loved this guy my whole life, and it's beautiful
To be able to finally say that publicly. And
mm-hmm.
like, I know I've had girlfriends where I had this like weird primordial urge to tell everyone because I loved them so much. And I had I was allowed to tell everyone how much I loved them. Like scream it from the rooftops, and it's normal. And then I can't imagine being part of a community where you have to hide that. Like, I can't imagine loving someone so much and wanting to tell everyone and not being able to tell anyone.
Yeah, that's madness. Complete madness. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I just
Cisco,
can't even imagine.
the small southern town, that atmosphere. We were kind of just talking about that, how you'd be completely surrounded. It'd be like you'd outnumbered beyond belief. You'd have to hide even more so in a southern town. Like I'm picturing like Texas, the Bible Belt, like that area. You like, if you're gay, it's like a death sentence.
Well, even growing up in New England, up specifically here in Maine, like turn of the century, you had a film, Birth of the Nation, which was a Ku Klux propaganda film, and it rallied Klansmen to spread out and to do their dirty deeds here, and they came up to Maine to persecute the Catholics. So there was this like, you wonder like why there's like all this racism in Maine and homophobia, and I experienced it around in even if you were someone like me who was like into the arts or kind of dramatic, and you or talk too much, you would get called these slurs, that you're like not a man, and it was awful. I didn't understand it, and I didn't understand like why this was happening, but now I can clearly see it was like this hatred that was passed down, and from generation to generation. And
personal experiences that were very similar to that too, where in high school I'd have dudes just saying like, what are you, gay? And I felt like I was one of the weirder kids where I was just like, no, but what if I was? Trying to like just have a conversation with these bullies. And it of course would never go anywhere. Like they didn't want to actually have that conversation. But I'd be like, where are you going with this?
It's great that you could have that conversation, because like it didn't even exist. It wasn't even like a possibility, because there was like zero tolerance, dude. Zero.
For you, there was zero tolerance?
No, just for any of that behavior. Like, because these people were like, they were raised by old racists that were probably former Klansmen, and they were scared. And I don't know if you know this, to this day, I think Maine is 98% white. We're the whitest state in America. it blows my mind, and culturally becoming a lot more diverse. But if you don't think I don't see that impact and hear certain things as a middle-aged white man, you'd be wrong. And it's awful. It still exists. I'm not saying that Maine isn't safe or inclusive, and there's safe spaces and wonderful people. And I'm so happy, dude. My state senator, good friend of mine, love the guy, is a gay black man.
Yeah. And
it makes me so fucking happy, because I had so many rednecks treating me like a piece of shit, and to some capacity I understand what it feels like to not feel accepted and to be discriminated and abused. And when this man was running for legislature, I can't say it. This woman laughed in his face. He like, you'll never be in the representatives. And I was like, he told me that at his table, and I go, run again, man. People know you now. You were close. You were close, dude. Like, fuck that. You do it again. And the next time he won, and then he won 2 more terms, and now he's a senator. I'm like,
dude, that's awesome.
And he and his husband are really good friends. His husband lives just across the way, and we fought the quarry together.
Nice.
This is some beautiful, and we won. And when there's no quarry coming into my town, it's a beautiful thing. But that's what happens when the people who aren't considered the norm get together. And that's what I saw people do in my community. And I'm so happy to see over the years that people have been connected, and technology and certain things and whatever shifted. I'm just happy to see this be a reality that exists. It is celebrated. It is accepted in politics. And
this is huge.
It makes me feel there's, like, you know how I'm a misanthrope and I'm like, there's no hope for humanity. I can easily blurt that out. But that's the shit that makes me fucking lose it, dude. Fucking throwing things around. I'm telling you, dude, like, I have to see some acts of kindness and respect. I'm gonna be like, tear it all down, dude. It's fine.
CP just needs to see some people. CP just needs to see some people love each other. We need to see some fucking, like, positivity up in here. Is that why you like Pride Month? Is that why you're in full support of it? Because, like, it shows that there's some good in the world still.
I like pretty stuff, man.
Me too, dude.
And it's pretty, and, like, it's colorful, and that's the world that I always want to see. You see my paintings, man. I'm like a West Coast painter living in the East. I'm, with media and television, it's weird what you get inspired by these days, even if you don't live in an area. But color, man, I love color, and I love performance, and I love RuPaul's Drag Race because it got me into watching different drag queens. And you want to talk about being an ally, and I'm not boasting, but Trixie Mattel and Katya and, all these people that I just went and saw Juno Birch from the UK, who's transgender. And it's just so fucking awesome. The performance, I was excited that Juno Birch went out in the crowd and bumped into me. And I have this wonderful Juno Birch scarf. And look at this shit. Tim Burton's 60s mod. I loved all this stuff.
That's awesome.
She did a Beetlejuice pillow that I have. And it's like, and I saw that after Pee Wee Herman died. My mom's like, Pee Wee Herman's annoying. Like, no, he's wonderful. Paul Rubens, rest in peace. It's such a wonderful feeling for me that the freaks and geeks and gays and lesbians and the misfits, like, fuck it, dude. We're friends, man. And, like, let's all progress together. Like, that's the community that I want to be part of. That's where I stand. Inky, what the fuck are you doing down in the deep dive? You're gonna get lost, dude. Get your cat out of here. It's gonna get lost, dude. There's so many fucking mine shafts. Get that fucking cat out of here, dude. Get that. I don't. Inky, treat. Fuck, dude.
just because I moved the cat cam in here, I didn't realize you spot that cat cam move so quick. You were like, on it. You were on it.
No, man.
So I do want to bring up something interesting that has happened because of there's been so much acceptance, right? And it's created this a lot of
Wow, Cisco, that's wild.
They're wrong, right? The heterosexual cis men that are like, why do you get a whole month? They feel like now they're the other, with quotations, just like Isaac had said. They feel like they are now othered. And
yeah, they might not be in control like they want to be.
They're still in control, very much so. And the funny thing about this is that there are people who will say that they're trans or gay just to become part of the club, right? Cisco was touching on this earlier, and I wanted to bring it up, that there are people out there that are they're gonna do it just for clout. And I want to sorry, I get very passionate about this because it's like, especially in places like where you and I grew up, in like very white, very Christian areas, why would you choose to live one of the hardest lives? Like, that is such a difficult life. I can't believe someone would try to live that life just for clout when it's so, like, it's straight up dangerous where I live. There's still people getting beaten in the streets just for being gay where I live. It happens at least once a year. We don't have a very high population. If it were like New York City, it'd happen way more than once or twice a year. So like the idea that you would do this for clout blows my mind. Like, you choose to be ostracized by society. That's why, like, there's a lot of people that will say, oh, being gay is a choice. And it's like, I don't think so. I don't think you would choose to have your life be that difficult.
What's a choice? I mean, that's a weird thing. Like, what's a define? Like, everything's weird, man. Like
there are some things that can be a choice, but what I mean is they say that that's the only version of it there is what I'm saying. They don't think.
It's like you can fight free will all day, and just we have these conversations, and people are kind of like working with that notion of free will and of being kind of BS. And what is choice? If there's no free will, and that theory is actually accurate, that when you think there's a choice, are you going to get the chicken or the steak? It's already predetermined that you want the steak, and you feel like you made the choice in real time, but you were always going to pick the steak. Like that theory, it's like you were always going to pick gay, or you're always going to like pick straight. It's like, I don't like being called straight. I can tell you that one thing. That's a word that I think we should change. Straight seems weird. It's like straight seems like almost saying like normal. Like it I don't know. And hetero so scientific, but like straight, man. It sounds like I'm like, it makes me feel like I'm militant or something. Like I'm on the straight and narrow, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
that's where the term came
like
from.
I'm doing the right thing. It feels where I'm going straight and you're going backwards, and if you were, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But I guess if you're supposed to be going backwards, you'd go backwards, and if you're supposed to be going straight, it's just a weird thing to me. I don't understand straight.
So, I'm going to help you a little bit with that, actually. That's a great segue into, like, it's not a choice. It's genetic. It actually is something that it's part of evolution, like you said, with nature, like the gender being a spectrum, and you just look at nature. Well, that's also, they found that out scientifically. There was an experiment done, I think it was in the 80s. It was an experiment done on overpopulation. They made a box that was like 4 foot by 4 foot, I believe, and they filled it with mice, and they gave them plenty of food, plenty of water, and they very quickly became overpopulated. And they sort of left the experiment alone to a degree, and they found that because it was so populated, there were homosexual mice appearing, seemingly at random. You had lesbian mice, you had gay mice.
A lot of yes queens.
There was like very brightly
like
colored.
What makes a gay mouse? Were they just try to breed with other mice?
Yeah, they noticed that there were pairings of males and females. There were pairings of, and it just they
like buddies. Like they would do things together.
But they didn't have they weren't procreating. That's the big thing. It was like a natural response to overpopulation.
Hey, what's up, Dragon Soul 101?
Hello.
Teach me about dragons.
Hello, Dragon Soul.
This is thankfully its first year. Yeah, it
So it was 60s and 70s, I believe, was the actual
the mouse.
Was
they
the
do a lot of weird
experiment.
stuff with mice. Poor mice, man.
Yeah, I think they called it Universe 25.
And we need some mice rights.
The experiment was called Universe 25, I believe. Let's see. I'm just looking into this article. The idea was to set up a rat or mice utopia, isolated living conditions where they had ample food, shelter, safety, and separated living areas to see the forms and stages of their breeding and behavior would be as their population naturally increased. Anticipated a relatively high population that would develop relatively quickly, about as fast as normal breeding timing allowed for, and the results didn't match that. Apparently, the population exploded of these mice in this fairly small area.
All right. And then they just pick different partners and stuff.
There were different zones in this box for the mice and stuff.
Well, there's one thing that I want to like ask the question. It's like, if these things are a choice, right? Well, what about just sexuality in general?
You mean like,
now,
well, like there's
I'm not saying everybody watches adult content. It's very easily accessible these days, I'll say. And you can go into a site and you can type a specific thing you want to see. Now, there's a lot of categories. And there seems to be more and more categories. And they're all readily available to each individual. Now, it's like what you find specifically appealing, like in the search, may be completely different you and I.
I just found it. I just found the part of the article that talks about it. So
Yeah, dude, we're in the deep dive. We're in the underground arcade right now.
A new class of male rodents appeared, and they called them, in the experiment, the scientists called them beautiful mice. They refused to mate with the females or to fight for their space. All they cared about was food and sleep. At one point, beautiful males and isolated females made up the majority of the population. As time went on, juvenile mortality reached 100% and reproduction reached 0. So this natural response to overpopulation worked. Whatever it was, it actually created a problem. Among the endangered mice, homosexuality was observed, and at the same time, cannibalism increased. Oops! Uh-oh.
It's just a change in the system. These things happen. But to that point, like we have 8 billion people.
Cannibalism increased despite the fact that there was plenty of food. That's weird to me. 2 years after the start of the experiment, the last baby of the colony was born. By 1973, he had killed the last mouse in the Universe 25. John Calhoun repeated the same experiment 25 more times, and each time the result was the same. So 25. So normally you only need the rule of 3 in science, right? You need to repeat the outcome of your experiment.
He liked killing mice and watching them eat each other.
I guess he loved
each other, right?
So
John Calhoun. I trust. I'm gonna do this my whole life.
I believe that science is beyond belief. I believe you can't disprove science by just believing it isn't true. 25 times and the results were the same. Homosexuality is 100% not a choice. People can choose to behave that way and live their life that way, but when it comes to the genetic, like when you reach puberty and you're into the same sex, that's not going to be your choice.
Yeah, when you're coming into your adulthood and going through hormonal changes, like, yeah, it's just like whatever you find appealing. Like
you were
there
saying
are different
with
types of we're hetero guys, but there's different types of women we might like that are different, or age or hair color, and then it becomes like your focus. If it's someone of the opposite sex, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
You always want that.
Society
like,
accepts
come on,
it.
How hard is this to figure out?
I think one of the crazy things about this is that when you mentioned adult content, like I'm 35, I've absorbed adult content before, and you come across shit sometimes. You're searching for a certain thing, and then you're scrolling through, and then I've seen gay porn. I have watched it because I'm scientific at heart. I've got curious. I'm like, okay, what's up with this? And that's why they call it bi-curious. I have feminine traits. I have bi-curious traits, but the porn did absolutely nothing for me. I was like, no physical reaction occurred from this. It's like, that's not for me, is all my brain went. It's like, that's not for me. But there are people out there that will go, oh, that's disgusting. They'll go to the point of disgust. And it's like, not for them. It's not disgusting for them.
Hey, I want to do my own rule 25.
Rule 25.
You put a whole bunch of people in a box with the Pornhub, and then like you wait a while, and then you're gonna find that there's a consensus, man. After years, there will just be certain people that just always watch the same thing, whether it's straight or gay or whatever it is. They'll get so pinned down into one genre, of this equals this equals this equals the perfect thing, because they're going to be so burnt out on everything. And then you're truly going to know. You're going to truly, you might watch a little of this, you might watch a little of that, you might watch this, but eventually you're going to find, I'm not even going to say it, but you're going to know every time, like, man, I really got to get this over with. And put the top of the line, your caviar of smut, and that's going to be what you want. You might be dabbling with some other stuff. Yeah. You might, maybe you do a little bit of everything. But like eating food, you got to have a fucking favorite meal.
You got to. That's so like that'd be an interesting experiment to take this sort of this. Oh my God, there's so much to this experiment. Sorry, I was just reading a little bit. To take this experiment and add adult content to it and see what happens with people's brains when they absorb too much adult content. Like there was a lot of Christian propaganda saying that porn leads to turning people gay, and then Cisco touched on the trying to pray it away. Like there's a lot of that Christian ideology where they're trying to pray it away.
I don't know, bro. We haven't turned gay yet.
Nope. Nope. I mean, I hang out with people who are. Debunked it. I hang out with people who are gay. I like talk to them.
Oh, love the gays.
Love them.
Love the gays.
In all seriousness, like it doesn't change my desires to hang out with those people.
My favorite people are gay. Love the gays.
What are you quoting there? I recognize it. But
no, I don't know.
Oh,
I think I was almost. Yeah, I don't know. I was just using a voice. I don't know where I got it. But no, I'm not quoting it. It's true. It's when you know the people you'd rather hang around with because you're gonna have a more fun time. That's a crew. If my wife was like, we're gonna go hang out with this gay couple and their gay friends, and like it's gonna be predominantly like gay, I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, this is gonna be entertaining. Probably gonna have good food, and I'm not gonna forget it. And I'm not going over there to like whip it out. It doesn't mean anything about me. Like, oh, CP hung out with 15 gay guys last night. Yeah, I had a great time. And then it's like, don't judge me, man. It's a fun fucking hang. It's a chill hang.
It's fun. Yeah, exactly.
I have more fun walking around talking to like like I said, my gay senator. We walked around a garden. We had such a great time, and he gave me a nice hug. And I went on the wrong side a little bit. He's like, I like to hug heart to heart. I was like, is that what we're doing? He's like, that's what I do. And it was so tender and nice. And I was like, what a human dude. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It made me feel warm and emotional, because that's what I want to be. And if you're straight, if you're gay, if you're lesbian, trans, it doesn't, it doesn't, queer, it doesn't matter. It's that human connection.
Yes.
And it's a damn shame when people are trying to push against each other. Like, you can't be gay, you can't be that. They're fucking ruining their lives for some afterlife that they believe that they're going to tarnish by prescribing to certain behaviors and cultures. Man, you're losing the point. Humans, like, if
humans.
we all could just show each other respect and be cool, could you imagine? That's not a utopia hard thing to answer. That's just like it's just treat people with respect. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
That's why Pride Month is important, because
It's
we're just
very
trying to teach people to. Well, the big thing is, like, I keep going back on this, not going back on, but I keep coming back to this, where they just want to exist, or there's people actively trying to make it so that they are not allowed to exist.
They do exist, and they need to be looked at. They need to fucking be looked at out in the fucking real world, and not be seen as deviants or people that are doing bad things in the world, because they just want to do things and
another thing,
live a life, and they do, and they can, and they will.
You just reminded me of something. Sorry.
In the RAM community is not taking a political stance.
Nope.
Yeah, we are. We're 100% into this Pride Month and culture.
We are pro
and
humanity.
I'm not trying to get your money, and I'm not trying to split demographics, because I think the straight dudes who come over and want to be tough and masculine and work on cars and do construction projects,
dude.
Yeah, you're welcome here too.
Those are occupations, brother. Anyone can do those. It could be a.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
people want to do masculine shit, and swear and bullshit, and call you a jack. Yeah. Fuck you, brother. Listen to Johnny Cash. I'm sure gay guys like Johnny Cash too. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Don't we all like shit? Don't we all have similar values? Doesn't matter who we love.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a great way to bring us into the breath of fresh air.
Yeah, what do you guys like? We like all the same stuff, right?
Take a moment. It's time for the breath of fresh air.
Call your mother.
Oh, we're back up to the top. Call your mother. What?
Call your father. What? Call your mother. Talk to your family.
Okay.
But here's the thing. If you are in the... anyone in chat, tell me if any of these terms are not okay. Alphabet Mafia, Legitibiqua, I've heard it called as well, and then the LGBTQ plus. There's even more on. I just found the actual acronym. It's like been added to. Two-Spirit's been added to the acronym. There's also asexual has also been added to the acronym. Asexual is when you don't want to have sex with anybody ever. And that's I have such a high libido that concept was the one that I actually had to step into my sort of cavern inside my mind and be like, your reaction to this is rather strong. Let's analyze that. And instead of like getting like weirded out or upset like a bigot would, I guess is what you'd say, I just analyzed it and like that just means that I have such a different reality from that. That it's hard.
We all do, right?
Hard for me to imagine myself in that reality, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be allowed to live that reality. And that was one of the few times where my brain was like, "You're reacting very strongly to this," and instead of being like just sinking into the reaction, sometimes you just need to analyze. And the reason I started this segment with "Call Your Parents" was they may have reacted hastily to you coming out. If you're someone who is experiencing subjugation from your family, I'm sorry that that's happening. That sucks. And in that case,
don't put yourself in an abusive position. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's
I don't know what the circumstances were, but yeah.
Is that they may have also
self-preservation, but yeah,
reacted too hastily. I read some stories over this week where they had called their parents after years of not talking to them, and their parents would like break down in tears apologizing. And then there's others where they would try to contact their family and not even get any word back at all. And thank you for saying that, CP. Don't put yourself in a compromising position. I'm more just saying this as a way to bring up the subject of people react so strongly to things they don't understand, and they react before they think through it. And I'm not saying everyone deserves a chance, because I know there's some people that were straight up abused, like physically abused.
You extend an olive branch, dude. Like, I know that's a kind of a Christian thing, but my dad, who's not Christian at all, I waved at a guy who was driving by on a bike, and I was like, "Oh, good morning," and he didn't say anything and zipped by, and I was like, "Well, I guess fuck me." And then my dad's like, "Well, you extend an olive branch or whatever the fuck it is, And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I know, I get it, man. Like, you do what you can. You did your part to be kind and friendly. If people don't want to receive it back, I mean, you did what you could. And you can't change.
It's not even
can't change everything.
That might be.
You can try to be respectful.
Family is a tricky thing.
Kind to yourself, and
I like that you brought up a stranger on the street, like just waving hi to him, right? That's maybe a more realistic way to breach this subject. Family is a tricky thing, and anyone who's listening now that's like, oh man, I hate my family, I'm never going to talk to them again. I'm like, fair, I agree with you there. Like, if you don't ever want to talk to them again and they were that awful to you, by all means. But I like what CP is saying here better, that be nice to just strangers, like be nice to people. Like, that's all you can really do is just treat humans like humans.
My buddy's in the nursing home, and I finally went and saw him. That's the thing I can say that was like really important from last week. I totally forgot, because I was able to get that money. I was able to get that work done on my car. The garage was just down the road. So I walked up and I saw him, and it was hard. I needed to take a break, but I was just feeling so bad that I didn't see him for a while. And I know he's hanging in there, and I know he won't be around forever, and much longer, in fact. And I saw him, and he recognizes me. I don't know if he knows my name. He's slipping more and more, and he can't really answer questions, but I can tell him things. That's great, and he's happy to hear it and to talk to me. But when I left, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna take off, but I'll see you soon, bud." I was like, "I love you," and I held his hand. And he smiled and just like held my hand, and then when I took it away, he took the other hand, and like he just kept smiling and wanted to hold my hands, because even though he might not remember my name or the details of our lives together for 30 years, he remembers what love is.
Yeah.
And when I said it to him and I held his hand, he knew what he was going through.
Yeah.
And that feels fucking good, dude. And I won't forget that stuff. Like, that's all it's about. When we forget it all, and if we're all to fade, and all our jobs and our whole life's accomplishments and our weddings and our children and our favorite interests and every video game I ever played, and the how to draw and how to walk and all these things, when they're all gone, love's going to be the thing that remains.
Let's brought up something very important as well.
We're all going to remember that.
That's very true. So I brought up the idea of family. I'm not trying to distract from your story too much, because that's absolutely beautiful. And just, you can love your fellow man, and you can understand that love is just out there. And you can find your family anywhere. Like, yeah.
I don't have a brother or a sister. I'm an only child. And Matt in my head is my brother, and I love this guy. And we tell each other openly as guys, like, I love you, man, like, because it's genuine and true.
Mm-hmm.
And family, I had a lot of people in my art community. We're all doing these same post-traumatic shit, life abuse, stuff like that. A lot of us had a rough go, but we found family in each other. Bud, I told him I loved him because I have my last two grandparents, I didn't. And the one that still remains, I won't go see. I had an opportunity to even pick up a job, to make money, to work for her. And that seemed like the most horrible thing for all my reasons. Yeah. But Bud, he was my true grandpa. Why? Because when I was a kid in high school and I thought everybody was a piece of shit and everyone was just vicious and would steal from you and beat you and hurt you and criticize everything about you, he showed me kindness. He supported me. He showed me love. I love these flowers. Look at these snapdragons. You squeeze them and they open up like a mouth. Isn't that cool? Like shit like that. He was so happy and perplexed by it. And I go, it is cool to like pretty things. It is cool to like be kind to each other and to say like, hey, look at this thing, and not be like, well, that's fucking stupid. It changed my whole outlook. So yeah, he's my family, and they have also said the same. They went to my wedding, dude. These are worked. I mean, you can really develop beautiful relationships with people, and fuck your blood, dude. That seems weird. Don't fuck your blood for real. But you know, like
there's a term that gets misquoted a lot. It's like blood is thicker than something else. What is it?
Than water.
Is that what it is? Blood is thicker than water? I don't think that's what it is. Yeah,
because blood is viscous and it's thick, and if you had a bunch of it, and it would coagulate and run slow. Water's
it gets more
fluid.
It gets better when you think of the actual term, though. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. That's the actual term.
That's another one that's been fucked up, like bootstraps, dude. God damn.
So that's
always changing what things mean. That's a good point, man.
The covenant could be anything. So we formed a covenant in our little artist retreat group, in our art convention family. That's a covenant.
A con event.
That's a that's a convention event. Hold on a second. No, it's so I love this. I love this. The covenant, blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So you find your family and love them as hard as you would have loved your normal family if they had loved you properly.
Yeah, I never had a brother or sister through blood, but I've had a fucking 1,000 of them, you know. In the water, I guess. And that water's thicker than blood because there's more people in it, dude. And I hope we're not fucking swimming in blood, man. Cisco, you could be our family, man.
Yeah, like I actually really appreciate you being in here, Cisco, because we did end up having our chosen interview ended up falling short because Isaac ended up having scheduling issues. He's open to being on the show again at some point.
I'm for it.
We'll see when that comes back around. But having you here has helped a lot, Cisco, because we did really want additional views from someone who's actually experiencing the struggles.
Yeah, that was real cool for you to pop in, and
I can walk the streets hand in hand with my chosen partner and do no fear and have no fear at all that I'm gonna get yelled at or have slurs slung at me. Like that's where like I don't have the personal experience of the actual struggle. Like I can openly do that without any fear, and there are people living that cannot hold their partner's hand walking down the street because of what could happen.
Bullshit. Sucks.
Bullshit. Enough of that.
I always tell my boys that family isn't who you were born to. It's who shows up for you and stays. That's funny.
Yep.
That's funny that you tell your family that about family. Like, hey, you can pull my fucking card any day, because I know you have tons of friends. And it's like you're admitting, hey, if I fuck up, you don't have to stick around here forever. But I do. But just keep in mind, I am around and I am staying. Like, you know, it's fun. It's funny.
That's some great
that's honest.
It's some good parenting, first off, but secondly, I want to say
a lot better.
It's so
it's
honest.
a lot better than I'm your mother.
You
obey me. You have to fucking do what I say. My mom didn't do that, but my grandmother did do that to me.
You have, like,
so I get it.
You would, like, the fastest way to get me to stop listening and stop respecting you is for you to tell me that it's because you say so.
It is what it is. Well, that's just the way it is, buddy.
Yep.
That's the way we've always done
it. That's when I check out. That's the way you've always done it? Okay. Bye.
Yeah, they said that at our town quarry meeting. No quarries in the town. That's just the way we do it.
Just as part of the breath of fresh air, I don't think you've talked about it on the show yet. You won your quarry fight. That's awesome.
I think I've talked about it a bunch of times, but the dude sold all the land, you know, and he's done, man. He parceled all the land. The ordinance that we wrote that was just going to be passed through without even a glance. We've got the strictest ordinance in Maine, and we reformatted the whole board. We got new town managers, and now the board's all respectful because it's a different time. And this conservative, like, well, fuck you, and people yelling at each other. It's all gone, dude. Because we got people in charge that are like, no, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Hey, you're actually talking about illegal stuff, and people are starting to realize, like, oops. We can't run this like our own private show anymore. Oopsies. Things got exposed, man. The internet, they put it on Zoom. They screw up. We have Facebook. Like, man, shit gets around these days. So it changed and restructured everything. And we won. I don't have a quarry beside my house. I might get some solar farms. Bummer to my childhood forest, but hey, I still got my home, and not dynamite's not going off and draining my well dry and throwing rocks at the house and polluting the high school nearby and ruining this beautiful lakes town. We did that once already with a dump beside a lake, and that didn't work out. So thankfully, with perspective, we made the right choice. And hey, we won. People go, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. We saying that, and then they joined our fight. Keep fighting for what's right.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I'm with you, man. I'm for everybody. Outlaw CP. This is my platform. I'm running for office. I'm here for everybody. The Outlaw CP.
I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation because
of the world.
I feel like we hear, especially on social media, we always hear the loudest voice in the room. So I'm glad that we were able to have a person-to-person
We're coming to an end on that social media shit. Even the CEOs, dude, are saying it's ripping apart the moral fabric of society. Yep. The fucking Facebook CEOs admit it. Guys, you don't be controlled. They're gonna shove a wall between us. No, they won't win.
Yeah, I mean that's social media itself, but I'm just glad that you and I got to have a person-to-person conversation about Pride, about the month and like what it means, and I'm really glad that Cisco showed up. Appreciate you being in here and giving us another insight. Guys. Scarlett, thank you so much. I'm not sure what.
We're grateful to have you.
I'm not sure how we are on our. We're actually at the 2-hour mark exactly. We can wrap it up here.
Dude, you wrapped it. You hit this so well. You timed us out perfectly, man.
I didn't even mean
to. Good
to.
job.
Any final thoughts, CP?
You did. So next time, don't mean to. No, I wrapped it up, man. Fight, and I love you guys.
We are indeed, we are the revolution. I mean, and that's why I wanted to have this episode in the first place. It's another good wrap up point. Like,
made me feel good.
We're two straight dudes who are like, we consider ourselves allies to many of our friends who are fighting that struggle, and it's like, how do we be a better ally? And well, what better way than to put our voice out there and be like, this month is important, and we got to support our them, theys, and gays. Or our good friends.
A lot of people think the white bearded flannel men are part of the problem. We're here to show you that not all of us. Not all of us.
Oh my god! I wish we might need to clip that. We're white bearded flannel men with a podcast. but we got to use it for something. We're gonna use it for something.
Hey, I know. I get it, guys. I love studying history.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit we can agree on, but I'm gonna say, living now in the Dreamers Arcade, DP. No, I'm cool, and this guy is too. So let's not all just turn against each other.
And the trucker hats, exactly. Yeah. Sorry.
I made this one myself. I'm gonna put some puff paint on it. I also have snapback bro hats with unicorns. Like, it's just
yeah, I'm like a.
I want to be both, man. I want to be a broy and girly, man.
I got the.
Why not?
I got the 5.
It's awesome.
The 5.
Have it all.
The 5 panel hat.
That's a cool one.
This is like the coffee shop on my iPad hipster hat.
Don't call yourself a hipster. That's a term I don't like, dude.
Well, okay, fine. I'm a.
That's like my slur. Because we're artists, man. So many years.
Oh, you
fucking hipster. It's like, dude, you don't get it.
Yeah.
I am doing something different than you that you don't understand.
What are you fighting?
And it's
you're
like
fighting with him. You're fighting with your mind there.
I'm just. It was like a frustration. Yeah, I wasn't trying to do like a Charles Xavier thing. All right, guys, we're goofing off now, but hey, this has been a lot of fun. It put me in a real good mood. Thanks for keeping it like an open chat. This was rad. It couldn't have gone really any better.
This is awesome.
So
have a good.
I don't know if you're gonna raid out.
Yeah, I should probably raid. And actually, let's find someone who is celebrating Pride. I'm sure there's someone doing a marathon of some kind since it's near the end of June. Let's find someone who's
probably research that.
Yeah. LGBT
Maybe.
UIA.
We're gonna figure out a way to just spell it into like an acronym or something.
Yeah.
We could say it as a word, like OSHA. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
occupational safety, health and safety associate. Like, say it as a cool word. That's why they're doing the demon, right? Yeah.
That's why I like Legitipiqua, because it's gotten pretty long. It's now LGBTQIA2S plus.
Can we mix it around, man? Like, if we get enough letters, we can mix it around because. This doesn't need to be a hierarchy. Just make it a word.
There's not really a hierarchy. Actually, Isaac was touching on that a little bit about how he was talking about how.
Well, they keep going in order. Order and adding a new one, so it's always been in this linear sort of way. If you mix it all up, then it might spell a word eventually.
Dreamers for Pride.
Great.
There's apparently something
Sounds
here.
Good.
Celebrating Nick Cage Pride. Hold on.
Nick Cage, he's
Killer Clowns.
The artist. Yeah, Killer Clowns, dude. I want to see that. That game is awesome. It just came out. I haven't played it, but I love that movie. And yeah, you can be the clowns or you can be the people, and they turn them into cotton candy and chase them with balloon dogs and all this crazy stuff. But yeah, whatever you want, man.
I'm searching something very specific.
Oh my goodness.
It's very specific. There's lots
you
of
gotta grab these people while the iron's hot, man. They're gonna start slinking away. Let's
what do you mean?
Let's throw them over.
Look, they can slink away if they want. I'm not gonna.
No. We're trying to go do a nice segue. If anything, call your friends. Let's go.
Do a nice
on an adventure.
I'm gonna edit out the segue, my dude. I'm gonna edit out the segue.
I know.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. The past
Don't
video,
you worry about a thing.
I
just want to go pee, dude.
Oh, I see. The Killer Clowns one was a past.
Yeah.
Was a past stream. I'm not seeing anything, and no one's online currently celebrating Pride right now.
Nobody. What? It's a shame. I guess the parties they're all still hungover from the month of partying.
Maybe.
No, I don't.
Maybe.
I have no idea.
We have someone whose their channel is literally called Pride.
Sure. I lost the clip.
Dude, Dragon
what do you
Soul,
want? What do you want clipped?
Don't worry about it. We'll catch it. We'll get the clip. Live channels
Right on.
tagged with Pride. There's someone playing Grand Theft Auto.
Pride Theft Auto.
Pride Theft Auto. What?
I don't know. It's
Wait, Trashly's Super Pride Subathon. Someone in drag.
Man.
What?
The fear of more options is killing him right now, and I have to pee.
You have to go, dude. All right, just say your goodbye, and I'm gonna queue up the raid.
I already did.
Okay, fine. We'll queue up the raid.
Literally die.
We're gonna.
Oh shit.
We're gonna follow. We're gonna raid.
Oh, nice, Dragon.
Trashly.
All right.
So.
Oh, what do you mean invalid username? Oh,
We're raiding them. Let's go to who?
Try restarting my router.
Drag Trashly.
We're raiding them.
They're doing a subathon.
Oh, drag Trashly.
They don't allow raids.
Fuck it. I'm going to piss. Fuck it. I gotta go piss, and I'm farting too. I might have to slide another 2 into her, dude. 2x4. I'm out.
I'm the best one, and they don't allow raids. All right, this person is allowing raids. This person's allowing raids. They have a shit ton of viewers already, but that's cool.
I'll just piss my pants. I'll just piss my pants.
Don't piss your pants.
I'll just piss my pants.
Look, we just started the raid. We got 4 viewers coming with us. We're raiding someone playing Grand Theft Auto. They're playing Grand Theft Auto. Are you gonna be okay, CP? We got time. Oh my goodness. Looks like someone who their tags are English, gay, femboy, LGBTQ, pride.
Dragon,
so
stop.
Those are the tags. We got this. We're gonna raid through. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Have a good rest of your
Shut
day.
the fuck up.
Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Much love. Be well.
Bye.
Protect your gay friends.
Bye.
Be there for them.
Bye. Yeah, bye.
Much love. Bye.
Bathroom. Bye.
All right. Okay. Which one? Oh my God. Little Italy. Little
Oh,
Italy.
this is great.
Go pee, dude. I'd actually recorded that whole thing too, instead of just streaming it. So hopefully we have a pretty clear recording there.
Cool.